Welcome to the Rica Sham Show, a podcast where cancer survivor Rica, a former radio host, shares her passion for music, how she beat cancer, life lessons from her faith journey, and more. Now, here's her host, Rica Sham.
Hey, how's it going? And thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the Rica Sham Show. And my name is Rica, obviously. And I'm super excited you're part of this journey with me because this is my first ever podcast. I'm nervous and hopefully everything will turn out all right. You know, I used to be a radio announcer in my hometown. It's called Kotakinabalu or KK City in the state of Sabah, East Malaysia, and we're part of the Borneo Islands. Where I'm from is absolutely beautiful and amazing. The people are friendly. We've got the sun shining all the time. We've got the islands, the rainforest, the mountains, the beaches, you name it. So if you ever get to travel again in the future, come visit Sabah, all right? And yes, I am a recent cancer survivor. March 2021, I will be in remission for 2 years. So praise God for that. If you'd like to know more about my cancer journey, I've shared about it on my social media. I've written articles about it. So, just check it out on my social media pages. Search for my name, Rica Sham, Ricasham. And of course, I will be sharing about my cancer journey in details in the future episodes of this podcast. But for now, I'd love to talk about music. I call it the music series. I am absolutely passionate about music. That's why I was in the radio industry. And I believe that music is a huge part of my healing journey while I was surviving cancer. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of upcoming music artists from my hometown who are producing awesome, top-notch international work, which I think you should totally check them out. They deserve recognition. They deserve to be talked about. And so this music series is dedicated to them. In the music series, I will invite a musical guest for each episode, and we'll talk about the music, obviously. And at the end of the show, that's what's awesome, okay? Wait for it. They will be performing an acoustic, stripped down, raw version of the original song. How cool is that? And it's exclusively on the Rica Sham Show. So make sure you check out the music series, okay? Now, could you please put your virtual hands together and welcome my musical guest from my hometown, Gareleos, aka thinescape.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today.
How do I pronounce your name correctly?
You can just call me Gar or Gary. The full name Gareleos is pretty complicated, so just go with Gar or Gary.
Gar, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how old are you? Your location, what do you do for a living, and small things about you.
Okay, I'm 29 this year, and I'm a full-time graphic designer, and I am working and living in Kotakinabalu.
All right, so Gar, 2020 has been really tough for everybody. How was 2020 for you?
2020 was a lot of change for me. I transitioned from an older workplace to a new workplace. I moved out on my own, and I've have to learn how to work from home, and it's a lot of change.
You are staying by yourself, and so you're kind of like learning how to be independent and whatnot. Growing up to this like young adult.
I'm loving it so far.
Awesome. Okay, so your music artist name is thinescape, right? So when did you actually became like a music artist?
I released something under thinescape for the first time at the end of December of 2018. It's a cover, so it's not really an original track, but my first original track was in 2019, like early either February or March of that.
Did you wanted to do music since you were a kid? Like, how is your upbringing like? Are you always surrounded with musicians and,
I realized that I really like the idea of music and performance when I was a kid. We used to have like tape cassette recorders, and when I was a kid, I would record myself over the tape cassettes. My parents are fine with it because they were blank cassettes. I love the idea of like recording myself on that and listening back on it. Like, hey, I'm on the radio kind of thing. But I didn't know that was actually a thing that you could do. I thought it was like a play pretend kind of thing. And I only got into like music when I was in middle school. After like, the big Disney shows like Camp Rock and High School Music came out, then I was like, oh, this is really interesting and something that I really like.
When you were young, you wanted to sing and you recorded yourself in a tape recorder. And so I guess that kind of like, helped you actually transition to who you are today, Thinescape. Would you say so?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many singles have you released so far under Thinescape?
Around 5. I could be wrong.
Did you actually plan them? Like, you wanted to do, okay, I'm going to release 5 songs in 1 year, or it was just a very unplanned thing for you?
In 2019, I only released like 2 or 3 songs. I'm beginning to realize that it's not like a forced thing that I can make happen for me. If I have an inspiration to write something, or if like a certain mood or melody, then the process is faster.
How would you call your music? What genre would you put your music in?
That's a very good question because I don't even know like what genre it technically is supposed to be in, because it's mostly me just messing around with sounds. I just play around until I hear like, oh, this sounds good, it works, and then I sing over it and be like, oh, that goes sort of. But that's basically my process. So I don't really know what genre.
Urban experimental music, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So which one would be your favorite single, actually?
I'm actually quite proud of Pieces. It was one of the first few tracks that I came up with in 2019 because it happened within a day. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So that was like one of the fastest songwriting sessions I've ever had with myself. And I was like, oh, I'm actually happy with this. I don't need to change it that much.
How is your songwriting process like? Like, for example, I would just hum a melody and then I would record it on my phone. And then, I'll just ask my husband to play the guitar on it and then put on the lyrics. How is yours like?
I usually start with the main chords first because like the only instrument that I can actually kind of play is the keyboard. So usually I will just mess around with the few chords that I know and then build off of that.
Okay, so what DAW do you use for your song recording?
I'm using Ableton Live, and I love using, there's this plugin virtual instrument called Serum. It's like a synthesizer thing where you can like load a lot of different presets. And then what I usually do is I use a preset that sounds close to what I'm trying for and then edit it from there.
Do you do the mastering yourself or do you have help with that?
I have a friend who does mastering and mixing as like an actual full-time job. I'll probably pass along my raw files for him to help out. But if he's not available, then I'll try to do it myself.
All right. So who's your master engineering friend? Why don't you just tell everybody?
Oh, his name is Jason Huang. He actually recently won like an international mixing competition that actually put him like on the board like internationally. So he's doing very well right now.
Is he a Sabahan from Borneo?
He's from KK. He's actually working home based in KK now.
You see, that's why we have to do this podcast, because there's just so many talented sabahans who's in the creative arts, and we are just not talking about them enough. I think people should know about the talents and the things that you guys produce. I would say that your song is up there with the international songs. Like, I wouldn't be able to differentiate, is this song from Malaysia or is this song from like America, you know?
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll take it.
Yeah, because where were you guys 10 years ago when I was in the radio?
Yeah.
Were you doing cover songs back then?
I did do cover songs, but they were like really bad. They were shot on my phone and like background karaoke from YouTube, that sort of thing.
Well, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
That first post, is it still on YouTube?
No, I've deleted it like out of embarrassment.
Why?
Like nobody can ever find that.
Oh, well, at least, you tried. And how does it feel for you, to actually post your stuff online? Once it's up, it's up. Everybody can watch it, can see it, can view it, can comment on it. How did it make you feel actually?
Even back then and even today, it is very nerve-wracking because you're putting yourself on a platform that's like technically available to the entire world. And there are nasty people out there, but the main thing is to like just throw it out there, see if it speaks to anyone. And if anyone does, even if just one person, like that's enough.
Yeah.
You do need to filter out the bad though.
Yeah, so don't let it get into your mind and make you not wanting to post any more thing, because by putting your work out there, maybe that one person could appreciate it and then that's it. Your job is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the singles. You recently just launched Crazy, and it is so good. My goodness. How did it all came about? Just tell us a little bit about Crazy.
For Crazy, it was actually kind of funny because if you've noticed the past songs before Crazy, they're all very sad and emotional. So, and it was kind of like a joke between me and some friends, like, you need to make something that's happy. So I tried, and Crazy was actually one of the hardest songs to actually do because happy things just don't come to me naturally. That sounds very sad, but it just doesn't.
The thing is, the harder it is, the better sometimes it's gonna be. So I would say, judging by all the singles that I've heard from you, Crazy is one of the most outstanding ones. And do you have any like major collaborations? Is there a song? I think one with Phoebe Avery Force, right? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So back in 2018, I recorded like an Instagram story of me singing over a karaoke track of Billie Eilish and Khalid's Lovely. And then she DM'd me saying like, hey, we're thinking of actually doing this song too. Do you want to sing on it? Then I was like, okay, that seems kind of fun. So we didn't even have to meet up or anything. I just like sang over a track that they gave. They did most of the work, but then at the end of it, I was like, this could be a good moment for me to actually take this music thing seriously. I think that was like a big moment where I was like, okay, I should probably do more with music.
Cool. How does it feel to actually collaborate with someone else rather than just, doing your own thing?
It's a very uncomfortable step for me because I like to have things very controlled.
Yeah.
Like, because I can mess up as many times as I want. I can do it like 1,100,000 times and people wouldn't know like how many times it took because I would only need the perfect one. So working with like another artist is like putting yourself out there even more, because then you have people who you respect as like vocalists and musicians. And in a way, it's like you're letting them see your flaws and your capabilities. And it's like a level of transparency that you need to be okay with.
I totally get what you mean. But when you are working with others, just like, for example, this podcast, you will see my flaws and I would see, you feeling uncomfortable and whatnot. But I think it's good to have collaboration sometimes because you can bounce off ideas from each other. You could make something really great together with others.
Yes.
I do hope that in the future you do more collaborations as well. Is there any plans on that?
There's actually one song that I am working on with Ruth because we are close friends and we've known each other for many, many years. So we decided to okay, let's do this.
You should totally do it already. I think it's going to be fantastic. You and Ruth to have a song together. That's really cool. Go for it. We can't wait to hear that. Hopefully it's going to be out soon though.
Hopefully.
Okay, work in progress lah. Okay, I understand. Let's talk about another single, which is called Runaway. I really love the pianos in the beginning. Did you play that?
Yes. Runaway is one of the songs that I didn't have to rely a lot on special effects, and I tried to make it as raw as possible.
Well, I think if you were in a very vulnerable position or situation or in a very sad mood, when you hear that song, you probably shed a tear. I mean, that's the motion from the song when I heard it. Was it your own experience? Were you writing from your own emotions,
This one was about the pandemic, where people who are probably on the front lines or people who are working in situations where they're not allowed to be with their loved ones. So the main idea of that song is you can't be with the people you want to, and you just feel like you want to run away with everyone.
Wow, I think now that you actually explain the inspiration of the song, I think people should totally check out Runaway. It's very heartwarming and definitely speaks to your emotion. That's how music connects with people. Would you say that music is also helping you to overcome some difficult journey of yours?
Definitely. Music, everyone says that it's an international language. You don't have to know what they're actually singing about, but you can feel it in the music and the words. For me, music is very therapeutic because sometimes you can't say things and convey exactly what you want with just words. But through song, you're putting that emotion into that track. And whenever someone listens to it, should be able to feel that emotion back. It's a helpful process of me, especially when I don't even know what I'm feeling sometimes. And I just put it into the music. Yeah. That's sort of why I want to do music.
You're giving me goosebumps by saying that. I mean, I totally relate to you. Whenever you hear something and it touches your heart and that does and says something. Okay, so let's, not talk about music right now, but what do you do for fun?
Okay. So I have a lot of things on the side. I play a lot of video games. I do design work outside of work that is more artistic in sense. I want to get into drawing. I want to get into voice acting. I want to do a lot of things. So most of my free time is just reading about these things.
But I saw your Instagram stories and some of your posts that you do this thing called Twitch. So you got to explain to me what Twitch is.
Yes.
Because at first I thought it was a gaming platform. And then I saw musical artists on Twitch. So I'm not sure what does it do. Could you just give me a rough idea?
Twitch is basically a platform for live shows. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, but it's just that everything there is live. It's not pre-recorded content. So people can chat, people can donate money, people can subscribe to you, and that's also a form of income for you. I do mostly gaming stuff, but I am trying to branch it off into design work, and in the future, maybe even music. So like people can come and watch me design things. People can come and watch me maybe do music. But at the moment, it's just games.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for explaining this to me because I thought Twitch is a gaming platform. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, so I know that you are a believer of Christ, and I just wanted to know, how is your faith journey? Like, how's your relationship with God so far?
Probably like everyone else, that relationship with God is pretty up and down. I'm not like super great, but like not super bad either. So I think I'm all right. But there have definitely been situations in the past where it's been more of like a bad part. Yeah.
Because God gives us hope, and when there's hope, everything is just better. For me, the verse that says, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my thoughts than your thoughts. So it just kind of remind me that God is so beyond me, and his plans are always perfect for me, and so I should just trust in him.
The verse that I really like the most is probably a very common one that people use at weddings. It's the First Corinthians 13, the part where they're talking about love, like it's patient, it's kind, it's not envy, it does not boast, and all that. Because I feel like if everyone were to understand what love really is, then there would be so much bad in the world that would not happen. That's what I would really want people to hold on to.
But it's so hard to love sometimes. It's really hard, especially
Yeah.
when you get into fights or disagreements, and we just need to have the compassion and the love in us to be able to forgive, and to also be kind, to always
Yes.
be slow to anger and be gentle. So yeah, I think what you hope for others to know about love is great. So maybe it could appear in your songs in the future.
I have tried writing a love song before, but I lost it.
No worries. I'm pretty sure you'll find it someday. Okay, you know what? Before we go to the end of the show, I like to do this with my musical guests. I'll give you 60 seconds and you just answer me these random questions as accurate as you can, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let me just get the timer. 60 seconds with Gareleos, and your time starts right now. Okay, what is your full name?
Gareleos Gasin.
Do you prefer cats or dogs?
I prefer cats.
Favorite Netflix show?
Umbrella Academy.
One word to describe yourself in high school.
Shy.
Have you ever secretly admired someone?
Yes.
Have you ever written about them in a song?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Tell us something weird about you.
I like to put tomato sauce on watanho.
Oh my gosh. Okay, time's up. All right, that was 60 seconds with Gareleos. I really had a great time with you. Thank you so much for sharing, bro. And before we actually go into your performance, is there anything that you want to say to those who wants to be like you, who aspire to be like a upcoming musician or music artist, or is there any message that you want to tell to those who are listening right now?
I say to just go for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you start getting things out there, then eventually it'll all come together. So just do it. Don't let what you think other people are going to think hold you back. Yeah.
I would love to hear more music from you in the future. I think you're talented. I think you are a natural when it comes to interviewing and whatnot. So yeah, I would say go for it as well, using your own words.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for Thin Escape, like 2021? What would you hope to do?
I would eventually still try to get like at least one album out. So I'm hoping that could work in 2021.
That would be so great, and we're looking forward to it. All right. So, okay. Thank you so much, Gar.
Thanks for having me on the show, Rica.
Gareleos performing Runaway, stripped down acoustic version. Take it away.
She said she didn't wanna go home tonight, 'cause she knows that it's the only thing that's right. So when do we get to hold each other again? When do you get to open that door again? There's nothing we can ever say or do. All that's left is for me to wait for you. They keep saying it's just another day or two, but every day I hope we can run away, run away. Run away. It's been a month, but there's still no good news. We thought that by now I'd be there next to you. We've lived this day over and over again. For now it seems like there's just no end. There's nothing we can ever say or do. And all that's left is for me to wait for you. They keep saying it's just another day or two. But every day I hope we can run away, run away. So hold me now, stay real close, don't leave me now, let's just run away.
Hey, you're listening to the Rica Sham Show podcast, music series. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was Thin Escape with Runaway. Check out his music on all major music streaming platforms. And next episode featuring Phoebe Sen of Avery Falls. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my social media pages at Rica Sham. I'll see you next episode.